Howdy, friend. Ever stop and think, maybe there's a smarter way for us folks right here in our beautiful Tennessee?
A way to live, you mean? Yeah. One that feels, I don't know, more connected.
Exactly. Kinder to the land,
Yeah.
maybe puts you a bit more in control.
Well, that's what we're fixing to dive deep into today. Something mighty interesting.
Earthships, building them right here in the volunteer state.
That's right. We've been looking into these unique homes built not just with know-how, but with a whole heaping of what some folks might just call trash.
Trash. Like what?
We're talking tires, bottles, even cans, all repurposed into these sturdy, sustainable places to live.
Huh. So our aim today is kind of unpack how these Earthships could be, well, a real answer for Tennesseans.
Yeah, for folks looking to live more self-sufficiently, maybe get a little off the beaten path.
All right, so for anybody listening who's scratching their head,
Okay.
what in the Sam Hill is an Earthship?
Okay, so basically, think passive solar homes. They're built using recycled stuff and, natural materials.
Recycled like those tires you mentioned.
Exactly. Earth-packed tires are a big one. But also Adobe, glass bottles, aluminum cans. They get worked right into the structure.
Wow. And they're designed to be off-grid.
Off-the-grid ready, yeah. That's a key part. Meaning less reliance on public utilities. Your power bill, your water bill.
Right. Less reliance on the grid. Makes sense. So it keeps them comfortable. Tennessee, summers get hot. Winters can get a bite.
Ah, that's the magic of thermal mass. It's really the core idea.
Thermal mass. Explain that a little.
Well, those earth-filled tires and the thick adobe walls, they absorb heat when it's warm, like during a sunny day.
Okay.
And then when it gets cooler, they slowly release that heat back into the house. It helps keep the inside temperature really stable.
Stable like how?
Usually somewhere between, say, 60 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty comfortable no matter what the weather's doing outside.
60 to 75. Without a big furnace or AC.
Largely, yeah. Now, they started out in the desert, New Mexico way, but folks have built them all over. They've adapted the design.
Even here in Tennessee.
You betcha. Even right here.
Now that might sound kind of far-fetched to some folks listening. Earthships in Tennessee.
Oh, all right. We found evidence, actual examples, mentions of them up in Johnson County, over in Gallatin.
Gallatin, near Nashville.
Yep. And even another one not far from Nashville itself. They're here.
Okay, let's dig into those. Tell me about that Johnson County one. Sounds like maybe it was one of the first.
It seems like one of the OGs, yeah. Up in East Tennessee, built by Ken and Etta Leben sold. Maybe around 2001, give or take.
And they used tires.
Did they ever? Get this. Around 700 old tires, each one packed solid with about 300 pounds of local dirt.
Good gracious.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dirt and a lot of tires kept out of a landfill.
Exactly. And all that packed earth, well, it gives incredible insulation. They figure an R value of around 70.
R70, that's serious insulation. Most homes don't come close to that.
Not even close. And listen to this, they're completely off-grid.
Completely. How'd they manage that?
Solar panels, for one. And they've got a little stream nearby, so they put in a small hydro generator. Clever. Water power, too.
And their water comes from a spring, and they use it multiple times. For the house, then maybe for watering plants. Very efficient.
Makes sense. Resourceful.
They do have a wood stove, for backup on really cold snaps, and a propane water heater. But check this out.
What else?
For growing tomatoes inside, in the dining room.
No way.
Yeah, and bananas in the bedroom.
Bananas in East Tennessee. Inside their house.
That's what the info says. Shows how stable that indoor climate is.
Oh.
And the ceiling. Made from wood they harvested and milled right there on their land.
Truly built from the land. That's amazing.
And they don't keep it secret either. They actually open it up sometimes for tours, workshops, show folks how sustainable building can work.
That's fantastic, sharing the knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Gallatin? Closer to Music City.
Right. So over in Gallatin, a fella named Marcus Sisk started building one back in, looked like 2013.
Also using tires and stuff? Yep. Got tons of free tires from local shops. Smart move. Plus bottles, cans, the usual Earthship ingredients. He actually started a company, Biotexture Tennessee, specializing in this.
So there's a business here doing this. That's a good sign.
Definitely shows interest. And they had this really interesting idea for him, too, thinking about using Earthships for, soundproof recording studios.
Oh, now that makes sense. All that dense earth wall.
Super quiet inside, perfect for all the music going on around here.
A tire-built recording studio. Only in Tennessee, maybe. What about the other one near Nashville?
Yeah, that one sounds newer. Word is, it's a student from the Earthship Biotexture Academy. That's the main training place out in New Mexico. They're building one just outside Nashville.
Any more details on that?
Not a ton yet, but folks can keep an eye on that Biotexture Tennessee website, biotexture.com, for updates. It's definitely happening.
Okay, so they're here. But let's talk Tennessee weather. It ain't exactly the dry desert, is it?
Mhm.
We got humidity, we got rain, summers are sticky.
That's a huge point, a crucial one. You can't just copy-paste a desert design here. Our climate, mild winters, but those hot, humid summers means you got to build smart.
So what are the key things to think about for building an Earthship here?
Okay, first, lots of earth contact. That thermal mass thing still works, helps moderate temperature year-round, but then you got to deal with moisture.
The vapor barriers.
Absolutely critical, especially on walls and floors that are above ground or maybe not fully bermed. You got to keep that humidity from getting into the structure.
And cooling. How do you handle the summer heat without just running an AC constantly?
Smart design helps. Building more into the earth, like we said, using berms, piling earth against the outside walls, that helped keep things cool.
What about windows? Earthships often have those big slanted greenhouse windows, right?
They do, but for Tennessee, maybe vertical greenhouse windows are better.
Yep.
Big overhangs to block that high summer sun.
Overhangs, right. Keep the direct sun out in July.
Exactly. And maybe skip the vents in those windows, or be really careful with them because opening them just lets all that humid air inside.
Good point. Humidity control is key. What about those cooling tubes? Bury pipes underground to cool the air.
Yeah, earth tubes or cooling tubes, they can help, but again, humidity. In Tennessee, you run a real risk of mildew growing inside those damp, dark tubes.
Ugh, yeah. Don't want to be pumping mildewy air into your house.
Definitely not. One idea folks have tried is running the air from the tubes through like a water-cooled radiator first. It can help pull some moisture out, dehumidify it before it goes into the house.
Interesting engineering there. Any other design tips for our climate?
Yeah, keeping rooms maybe narrower but deeper can help with airflow. Definitely need a well-insulated roof. Maybe avoid a metal roof directly over the living space because of condensation issues.
Condensation, right.
Humidity again.
It's the big challenge here. Even those indoor greenhouses for treating wastewater, which are common in Earthships, they might just get too hot in a Tennessee summer to grow much effectively. So compared to, say, Florida, we need heat in winter, but we have way more humidity to deal with in the summer. It's a trickier balance.
It is. And then there's our soil. It ain't desert sand.
Lots of clay. Red clay everywhere.
Exactly. Clay holds moisture. Plus, we got hills. Water can seep downhill after a good rain right toward your foundation.
So you got to be extra careful with waterproofing.
Super careful. Might mean focusing on keeping the thermal mass dry, maybe using plastic sheeting as part of the insulation strategy against ground moisture. It's doable, just needs thought.
But the core idea, using what you got, that still holds true here.
Oh, absolutely. That's the beauty of it. Folks are using local stuff, those free-use tires, the dirt right from their land. It keeps costs down, sure, but it's also just better for the planet.
Like that Johnson County place getting R70 just from packed earth. That's incredible. Using what's literally under your feet.
Precisely. But you know, it ain't always a walk in the park. There are challenges specific to building them here.
Besides the humidity.
Well, erosion can be an issue on the berms if they're not planted or managed right. And just, you know, keeping plants from getting too overgrown on the structure. They saw some of that in Gallatin.
Maintenance, like any home, I suppose.
Right. And again, waterproofing and making sure you've got good airflow. Got to avoid mold in our climate. That's non-negotiable.
Yeah, mold is no joke.
Yeah.
What about getting permission, building permits and all that? Can you even get these things approved?
That can be a hurdle sometimes. Depends on the county, the local codes, because Earthships use, well, unconventional methods and materials.
Like tires on the wall?
Exactly. Building inspectors might have questions, especially about the structural aspects, the thermal mass design. It might take some extra explaining, maybe some engineering reports.
So folks need to do their homework on local regulations before they start pounding dirt into tires.
Definitely. Talk to the local building department early, see what they require.
But these structures, they aren't just homes, are they? You mentioned recording studios.
Right. That sound dampening quality is a real bonus. Those thick, dense walls make them naturally quiet inside. So yeah, recording studios seem like a perfect fit for Tennessee.
And education, too, like the Lebensholzer are doing.
Yeah, that Johnson County Earthship is basically a living classroom for sustainable building. Shows people it can be done.
And having a company like Biotexture Tennessee here, that must help spread the word, maybe even to states around us.
You'd think so. It shows there's local know-how, local interest. It's not just some weird idea from out west anymore. It's taking root here.
So, wrapping things up here, Earthships in Tennessee. It sounds like, yeah, they're a real thing. A testament to, I guess, our ingenuity down here.
For sure. And a real option for folks, for you maybe listening,
Yeah.
thinking about a more sustainable life, a more off-grid life, using what's around you.
They got their challenges, especially with our humidity and all.
No doubt. You got to build smart for Tennessee. Can't just wing it.
But with that smart design and maybe a little bit of elbow grease.
A lot of elbow grease, probably. Packing those tires ain't easy work.
Okay, fair enough. A lot of elbow grease. But these homes, built from the earth, built from recycled treasures, they're not just a dream. They're happening right here.
Right in our own backyard. It's pretty exciting, really.
So if this whole deep dive has got your gears turning, if you're feeling that pull,
we really hope you dig a little deeper yourself. Check out those resources like that Biotexture Tennessee site. Talk to folks who've maybe done it or thinking about it.
Yeah, see if this Earthship way of life, if it feels right for you, if it's the path you want to tread to live a bit lighter on this beautiful Tennessee soil.
It's a journey, for sure.
It is. And as we bring this to a close, let's just take a quiet moment. Let's send up a heartfelt prayer for each and every one of y'all listening right now.
Amen.
May you find the path, whatever it is, that brings you closer to the land, closer to self-sufficiency, if that's your calling, and just closer to a life lived with real intention and a deep respect for this amazing world God's given us.
A life with purpose.